Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Roobs ToyZone Podcast, episode number 4. It is Wednesday, August the 19th, as I am recording this in studio, approximately about 8:30 this morning. I'm up. I had a good dream. Not really much. I can't even remember the dream, but I've never felt this better in bed in like the longest time. But I'm starting off with a problem this morning. You see, when I take off my glasses, everything is like usually blurry. Now, when I put on these glasses here, it's supposed to improve, but yet it's still having almost the same effect, but it's minimal. But I still see the, you know, I can't really see that well. Let's just put it that way. And that's what's happening right now. But tell you what, I am still doing this podcast. Nothing's going to stop me from doing this, so I might as well do it right now in front of you guys. I know it's nerve-wracking. I know that not having the best vision could make this any better, but I'll do the best that I can. I'll try to stay as patient and calm and just dependent on colors, I guess, or objects as I see them near me. Because when I see things from afar, it's kind of strange. All you can just see is blur. But as far as things are near me, I can see. But if I look further, it's different. And if you guys can relate, hey, here's a toast to you guys, okay? By the way, this mug here is from Rhea's Chicken Basket over there in Willowbrook. So I just want to say thank you guys at Del Rhea's Chicken Basket for always providing great customer service. You made me and my company feel welcome. Always love going over there. I love the vibes, seeing wonderful people, whether it's seniors, whether it's young couple, vacationers, or just regular folks like me, always coming in every once in a while. Thank you very much for the service, as well as the food, of course. The food is amazing, especially the chicken tenders. So this is where I got the mug from Del Rhea's Chicken Basket. And they've been in operation since 1946. So it's 80. And there it is, Del Rhea's Chicken Basket. Be sure to check them out. So here we are, Wednesday morning. We have sunlight. It's awesome to have sunlight. Because imagine if we were doing a podcast right now and it is raining and thundering. I mean, how epic is that? And then you got a tornado warning in the middle of that. Well, it happened about almost 2 weeks ago now, since we had that one warning that went like 3 times. Yes, 3 times. So there was a lot of tornadic activity here where I am in the Chicago suburbs. Okay, guys, so what am I going to be talking about in the Roobs ToyZone today? We're going to be talking about McFarlane Toys. We know that they've already ended their contract with DC, and I do have these McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse action figures. I have like about 11 or 12 of these things. I think 11. Yeah, 11. So I have 11 of these figures. I'm not sure if I'm going to show every one of them here for today's podcast, but I'll do the best that I can. I know people have different feelings on McFarlane Toys. And for some, they love it so much. They love the quality. They love the intricate details. And then for others, sometimes some of these figures are so different in terms of material, in terms of quality. They differ from one another, but there is that uniqueness to them. Now, my only gripe, I must say, is some of these action figures Let me just show one here in particular. I know I had issues with him for the last few days. Is this is Green Arrow over here? And as you can see, I tried to, you know, move his foot in some sort of way, because when I tried to put him on a stand, just like this one over here, and it should fit, and he is standing right now as I'm holding him. He looks great. But the problem is, it's hard to make him stand like normally. So I have to put him in a certain position for him to gain balance. Now, if I were to move this in some sort of way, he would fall. But that's my only gripe with some of these McFarlane Toys action figures, is that they are not self-supporting. You have to find ways to make them stand by themselves, or else they would fall. And regarding the Green Arrow action figure, he is just like unique in terms of the feel, in terms of the way he is sculpted. Not too many of these figures look like him. And I will go over with that to the fullest extent later on. But yeah, he is a one-of-a-kind action figure. Great. He's definitely great on the shelf, as you can see. But having to let him balance, that's just going to take, a few minutes of my time. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I am a super professional on how to get these things balanced, and I'm still trying to find out how to get him balanced, like some of these other McFarlane figures that can successfully stand. And here's another one that I want to show you guys. It's Hawkman from the Black Adam movie. He's actually my favorite. I actually choose him over the regular look. He just looks unique. I love the golden colors, like the Green Arrow. He too has that uniqueness. When you look at his helmet, it definitely has that gold texture, making that gold stand out, including his wings. And I do love the color scheme on this guy. It's more neutral colors along with the gold. And I think that actually goes well compared to the regular colors on the DC figure, as the DC character as he is. But I like this version, the one played by Aldous Hodge. And to me, he stands out. I like the way he looks. He's unique. But also, I must admit, just like the Green Arrow I showed you earlier, I have to make him stand in a certain way. These wings that he has on right now are heavy. So, of course, he's going to, tilt back and fall. And I had to find ways to make him stand. So I put him in this position as I put him on the shelf. So, again, when it comes to the details, McFarlane is definitely on point. And here we go. I love it. Okay, I'm going to go through some more of that later on. Again, guys, thank you for watching these last few episodes. I've had Ben and Gareth of World Class Customs on the show not too long ago. Wow. I can't believe it's already almost, a month or so since the last episode, since I had them on. Yeah, I've been pretty busy in the off life, besides running my Instagram accounts. And I don't know if you guys know, I do have a new Instagram account. It's actually a spin-off of the Roobs ToyZone. It is MOTU _ Hearts of Power. Put them all together. HEARTSOFPOWER. So it's MOTU _ HEARTSOFPOWER. And I'll even put it on the screen just to make it simple for you guys to see it. Be sure to check it out. Be sure to follow me over there as I am featuring Masters of the Universe characters saying a whole lot of positive things that we do need in life. It's almost like One to Grow on NBC back in the 80s. And the G.I. Joe and the Masters of the Universe, at the end of the show, they make some sort of announcement for kids like ourselves back then to learn from these lessons in life. So I'm applying that towards that Instagram account that I just mentioned, and of course the Roobs ToyZone. It's growing, a lot of followers at a record pace. It's starting from the ground up. I am not relying on any social media shortcuts to become popular. No, this is starting from scratch, and I did so last February, and here we are already in August, and it's got a pretty decent amount of followers already compared to my Instagram, my personal Instagram account, of course. So what else can I mention here about McFarlane Toys? Let me show you something. Okay, I got Larry Legend here. Yeah, Larry Legend himself. And this one's from the Legends collection. It is McFarlane Toys. I like the attention to detail on Mr. Larry Legend here, Larry Bird. I know he's kind of blurry in front of the camera, but he looks great. I mean, he looks almost closer to the legend himself. I wish he had a little bit of that mustache, the famous Larry Bird mustache. Maybe he should have came with an extra head when he had his mustache. And I know too that he was a little bit more. He was a little blonde, don't you think? When he was with the Celtics, yeah, they should have gotten that too. But I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this figure. He looks awesome. He, does different poses. He is on his own stand here. He looks great. He's holding the basketball, and you're probably wondering, how does he do that? How does he hold on to that basketball? Well, it turns out that something somehow attracts the basketball in his hand together, and you get this effect. So that's one thing that you gotta give McFarlane Toys their props. I mean, look at that. They can do things like what no other toy company can, and they've done it with Larry Legend. And besides having Larry Legend on, Larry Bird, I had to get his rival, the one, the only, Irvin Magic Johnson here, who was, of course, defending against Larry Bird there on the shelf. But yeah, there's Magic Johnson for you. Showtime, LA Lakers, back in the heydays when they played in the Forum. Yeah, he looks great. I like this. I must admit, though, that I was a Celtics fan and I was a Lakers fan, but yet I still love the Lakers, the way they always showed what they're made of in every game. And they showed it no matter how much you loved them, no matter how much you hated them. They just, pull out all the stops. I mean, they're just moving left, right, here, there, everywhere. And Irvin Magic Johnson is like the catalyst. He is the one that gets things going. And I do miss basketball as it was in the 80s and the 90s, respectively, when it was really super competitive, even though they may not have had it all, until after Michael Jordan left the game. You see how the NBA changed a lot because of players like him, because of players like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, Isaiah Thomas, Dominique Wilkins, you name it, man. I mean, they excelled at the sport, and the new set of players are sort of taking that to the next level. But I'm also extremely disappointed on the way the sport is being played now. And most of these players now, they want to have some load management. And of course, the flopping. I can't say no more about flopping. I know it is a tactic. I know that players are still doing so, including a famous basketball player who's supposed to be the greatest of all time, and he's playing like that. You call yourself the greatest of all time, and you're playing like that? I'm sorry, man. That's just how I feel, just based on my perspective. But respectively, though, you're still a wonderful player, and I wish you happy retirement. You know, a few years down the road, I know you still have some, you know, gas left in the tank to still go at it. But please don't flop anymore, especially when you're in a new city that you're going to be playing, you know, ball for. Okay. Well, enough of that. It's time to get back to business. By the way, guys, I'm tasting some really good coffee this morning. And it is Rise Coffee, guys. Rise Coffee. I'm not being paid for this, guys. I'm just a customer. I bought this at a Target store, and these do sell out quick. So, guys, if you have a moment and want to try something new and try to, you know, stay out of some big name coffee place for a while, go try some mushroom coffee at home. Enjoy your peace of mind. Stay here, stay outside, enjoy, play with your toys. I don't know. You can have a lot of fun in your day, and it can all start with Rise Mushroom Coffee, the coffee that I'm tasting right now. Okay, guys, back to this McFarlane Toys thing. Okay, here's another figure here, but this one was easy. He too is looking unique in detail, and just like Green Arrow, just like Hawkman, he too stands out. He has that, you know, rough, silvery feel. And this gun comes out too. Now, let me tell you something. There was something interesting. This room one time went to extreme hot temperatures, and the humidity levels were rising. And he was one of the figures that were affected. Now, besides him, there were a couple of female figures that I had that actually fell down. I guess because they couldn't hold on too well. They're very small, they're very thin. And most of the female figures I had fell, but most of the guy figures still held on. He was actually one of these. He was actually one of those that fell. He fell, and this gun fell too. The gun fell off his hand. So that was bad. And then there was another figure he knocked over. I forgot who it was that he knocked over, but he went down too, down for the count. And I realized too that when you have figures in this room and they're at a higher level of humidity and temperature, room temperature that is, what happens that these figures get affected. And to me, it is the first time dealing with the situation. I never known that it can affect the figures in such a big way. And I think the last time I saw figures in such a deteriorating condition, but it also can be because of how many years that they've lasted, were the G.I. Joe figures that I had. They've been through extremely, you know, different temperatures, whether it's hot, whether it's cold. But the wear and tear, the rubber band thing that holds them together, the elastic, I guess that's how you can say it, the elastic, they break, they age, the figures start becoming loose in the inside, and they, you know, basically just start falling apart. And it's heartbreaking, but it is what it is. I enjoyed those G.I. Joe figures for the last couple of years, and then as I approached adulthood, things change, and those figures are put to the side. It felt like Toy Story when the guy just had to leave the action figures and go off to college. That's how it felt like. And I never seen these figures until they were unearthed a couple of years later. And it's sad to say that their condition um, have deteriorated, and in some ways they do impact me because they were a part of my childhood, of course. Okay, guys, now welcome back to the podcast for you just joining in, or for those of you that are just coming back and looking at your screen. I'm talking about McFarlane Toys and seeing how unique they are. And here's another one, guys. Another one that stands out, just like the ones I mentioned, is Hawkman. Not Hawkman, Aquaman. Well, Hawkman was one of those that I mentioned, but Aquaman here, he looks unique. I mean, even his face, the way it's sculpted, looks so unique. You know, he looks like a badass. And I like the texture on his outfit here. The orange part feels very, scaly, feels like a fish, and that's what he's supposed to represent. And he's easy to stand on. He's pretty easy compared to some of these figures that aren't able to support themselves on a stand, and they're on a stand and they can't support themselves. And again, guys, that's one of the gripes I have with, the McFarlane Toys DC line, is that some of these figures are just not able to stand well. But thankfully, McFarlane stuck to the stands. He has an individual stands for these action figures. So that's one thing you got to give him credit for, guys. Let me show another one here. Green Lantern. He looks great, doesn't he? I mean, his costume stands out. It's shiny. You get to see that when you're looking right at the action figure, that his costume definitely stands out. I wish they could have given him maybe another head, because I'm not really digging the way this hair looks. I mean, it looks nice, it looks modern, it looks hip. But hey, I mean, you can't just stick to this hairstyle, guys. Can he have another head just to make it look normal? I mean, the hairstyle's not bad at all. I mean, it's going off to the side, but still. And of course, he's holding, the ring on his finger there, the Green Lantern ring. Looks great. He almost kind of reminds me of Ryan Reynolds when he took on the role of Green Lantern, in a way. I mean, just the way the costume looks. Yeah, at least he definitely looks great in green. Green and black and white. Good colors. Bold colors. All right, so and he's standing pretty good as well. And here's one that I really love, and he was the first one from the set that I bought. The first of the McFarlane DC line toys that I have. It's none other than the 1978 Christopher Reeves Superman action figure. Yep, he's the one that started it all. He was the very first one. And then I got all the figures later on, and he looks great. He's definitely on point in terms of his appearance. I mean, McFarlane definitely got it down. Now, compared to those other figures, the texture and feel of this figure is much more simple. You don't feel the rough textures at all on his outfit. The one thing that stands out, of course, I must say, is the cape. It's made out of real fabric. It has the S logo in the back, and the likeness of the late Christopher Reeves is definitely there, as you can see. He comes with two other heads, and this one looks really good. I wish they would have came out with the evil Superman from Superman 3. I thought that would have looked awesome if that one came out as well. But I love this figure so much. I have less problems with him. I even had him on a stand flying. So that was pretty cool to see him suspended in midair. So I have no problems with the Superman at all. Let's talk about a female female hero, none other than Wonder Woman. I saw this on a website. McFarlane was actually releasing a figure similar to this. It's not the actual one that I have right now in my hand, but it looks just like her. Almost everything looks just like her, I think, except for some accessories that I don't have that figure that they were hyping up again had. So she looks great. She has her lasso right there on the side. She has her sword. I think it was the axe that I'm missing. And then she has her shield. And she looks great. She's actually one of the best female figures I have presently in the toy lines. I'm talking about various toy lines, folks. She's among one of those that I like. And she looks great. She stands out. That's definitely Wonder Woman, folks. Yeah. So, yep. All right. I just had to put the figure over there to the side. There's a whole bunch of them here, and I don't want them to fall during this podcast. And that would be crazy if they did. It would be a disaster. Now imagine if it was hot temperatures and if it was humid, it would be crazy. Okay, guys, let me just take a sip of the coffee and hope you guys are enjoying your day. It's hump day. Hopefully you guys are going through well in the work week. Hopefully work's treating you good. Hopefully people in your life are treating you good. And if these people in your life are not treating you good, they should treat you good. Some of the people in our lives treat us like so less human. So don't fall for it, guys. Hang in there in life. Be there for yourself. Self-care is very important. Self-love, and just taking care of your priorities. And if people, and I'm specifically talking here, like toxic people, get in the way, it's best to just filter them out, even if it's for a while, maybe forever, depending, because those people are not good in your life. It's best to go for a change and look for people that do care, and they're out there. You just got to find your niche. Okay, I'm going to be sipping this coffee right now, and I'm going to show just a few more from the McFarlane toy line. And this is basically what episode 4 is about, to show a little bit more about McFarlane Toys, the DC line specifically. And sometimes they're intricate, sometimes they're simply detailed, just like the Superman I just showed you. He was very simple compared to Green Arrow and Hawkman, where they have so much detail, and the feel of the material is different too. So yeah, it's great to have these figures. I never had DC figures except maybe Superman. That was the only one that I remembered as a kid. I got him in '86. I was really crying out for him. I remember my mom getting mad at me because I kept wanting it. And then she gave in, and I finally had it. The thing is that, the S on his chest became deteriorated a little bit. And from there, I lost interest in that figure. And to me, he just wasn't relevant anymore. Okay, that was how I thought of when I was a kid, and playing with these action figures, and then when they're damaged, and I don't know. It's just me when I look at toys back then and I bash them and do this to them, and somehow I lost interest when they start breaking or just not looking themselves anymore. Okay, so guys, welcome to the Roobs ToyZone podcast, episode number 4, powered by the 2400 Block Podcast. Be sure to check that podcast out for past episodes. I know it's been a while since I've made a podcast. Besides toys, of course, and just talking to people in general. Hopefully, just like what I did with Ben and Garrett on the World Class Customs episode, hopefully I can talk to more toy lovers out there and to get their take on their toy collection and how they started with toys, what have you. It'll be good to interview that type of community. And I know I've interviewed people left and right, whether they're professional wrestlers, whether they're a professional in the marketing field, or a friend. It's just neat to talk to people on my podcast, even strangers, and to have them appear on the show and give me their perspectives. That's really awesome in itself. And I feel that as individuals, we should have the chance and opportunity to explore what's out there. I mean, you just had to put all that stuff you see on the news aside. They only bring their narrative, their own spin to things, trying to toy with our mind. But us guys, we have to rely what's in the heart, what you see in people, whether they're different or whether they're the same like us. We have to take into consideration, even if they may be different from us politically. You know, it's a crazy world out there, guys, and we just can get caught in the storm. Okay, back to the thing at hand here. Now I have a chance to mess with a much more simple look of these figures and even the feel of it. Let me show you one here. You got John Jones, Martian Manhunter, Martian Manhunter. He looks great. I mean, look how just simple he is. The way he just appears, and the texture is just simple. There's nothing really, bad to say about him. I mean, everything's great. The material, everything's simply made. His head is nice. The cape is awesome. The colors are bold. Look at that. It's awesome. And he's simply made. The texture, again, guys, it's just simple. And that's what I love, too, about McFarlane. When they do these figures, they try to set them apart from another. And another figure here I want to point out, too, is Shazam. Yep, Shazam. Now, this is one of the figures I can totally relate with. Check out this cape here. It can bend because there's like a wire around the yellow here. That's where the wire is, and that's why I can like bend his cape in a certain position. And I also like the simplicity, just like the Martian Manhunter figure, that there are no rougher textures on him. It's simply made, just like Superman. They just look so simple. They appear just as they are. Nothing really intricate. Nothing really super difficult. Okay, guys. You know what figure I left out, right? I'm sure you know what figure I left out of the DC figure collection from McFarlane Toys. The DC Multiverse collection from McFarlane Toys. What do you think I'm missing, guys? I'll give you a few seconds. You guys probably already know. But I'm still sipping this coffee if you guys already know. Okay. Ooh. I don't know if you heard that, guys. As soon as I put the coffee down, I just felt this surge of coffee just go right up to my mouth. You can hear that on the mic. It's kind of embarrassing, but it does happen though, especially for coffee drinkers like myself. Okay. All right. I guess I was nervous. I don't know what that was. Some sort of weird effect. As long as it doesn't come from the other end, right? I'm not going to mention what the other end is. You guys know what that is. Okay, here we go. The one figure I haven't mentioned, the very popular superhero, right next to Superman and Wonder Woman, is Batman. Right. Looks cool. He's definitely worthy to get. I mean, he looks awesome. I mean, look at that. He's simple, just like Superman in terms of simplicity and texture. His head, however, is a little bit different. Like you try turning his head, it can barely turn. And his head is usually like in just that position for the most part. Now, like what I said about Shazam is that Batman also has that wiry frame within the cape, and that is on the outside here, right over here, and right over here. And when I try to move the cape in a certain way, it's going to stay in that position. And then you put the figure in a certain pose, and he's going to look great along with the cape. So Batman over here, you know, he's pretty cool. He was the second one I bought after Superman, and he definitely stands out. And I have to admit that letting him stand in a certain way, it took a while for me to know how he actually stands. So this is what I did to make him stand in this position. I'm still learning how to get him to stand right, but I guess this is as far as I can go in making him stand on the shelf. He looks great. I love him. Maybe the next Batman in the DCU can look just like this. That would be really cool if he looked like this rather than just all black, you know? You need to make a new Batman, make him really badass, just like all the other Batman on film. Oh, I did present them to you guys, all of them. Yeah, there they are. So that's it for now, guys. For the DC Multiverse line, I'm not so sure if I'm going to be buying any more DC figures as they're presently with Mattel, unless they have really something that can really convince me to buy. So that, I mean, that may even take a while for me to get, but for right now, I'm letting these DC figures be where they're at right now. On the back here, as you can tell, it's kind of empty because that's where they normally would be, but I took them out here in front of me so I can present to you guys, and I hope to go over more toys again in the future, just like what I did here today, especially with the WWE figures. I like to probably show you some of my favorites from that toy line, from Mattel's toy line, the WWE figures, whether they're elite, whether they're ultimates or main event. I definitely like to show you my collection. And then lastly, I can probably go over more of the Masters of the Universe line. Guys, again, thank you so much for your support. Really means a lot, especially those I've come across communicating with, whether it's texting, whether it's a phone call. Yeah, phone calls are pretty cool, and they're still relevant. I know people choose texting over phone calls, but I'm an old-fashioned guy, and I'm going to stick to phone calls. It's just unbeatable. Because when you hear a person over the phone, when you hear them expressing their feelings rather than all caps, knowing that you're all angry on text messages, no, I'd rather deal with it on the phone and go from there. All right, so that's that right now for this episode of the Roobs ToyZone. We hope to see you again on another episode, and hopefully I'll get to have someone on. I definitely would like to speak with someone in the toy community. For those of you that are interested and want to hop on this podcast, give me a text or a message or a phone call. All right, guys, you take care now and say hello to your loved ones for me, okay? All right, bye.